too. As your luck would have it, rather than the city's alleged expert in adolescent psychology, you get the 60-year-old cynic who admits to your mother he has no previous experience with adolescent girls. Jokes he'll likely live the longer for it. Then twice alludes to the fact he's heading out on sabbaticals that afternoon, just as soon as he's finished with you. He has a furrowed brow and a slate gray beard with two white stripes like tusks growing down from either side of his mouth. Behind him stand cavalcades of leather-bound books with wrinkly knees, embossed in gold and filigree on such topics as abnormal psychology, hypnotherapy, plus a few university degrees and a pair of bifocals, all in golden frames. From across the expanse of his dark wooden desk, he raises a bushy brow at you and asks you why you aren't wearing any socks. You didn't feel like wearing socks, is the truth? You're wearing your usual black canvas shoes from Chinatown. They're soft inside and you didn't feel required socks. Actually. But don't you care if your feet get cold? Sounds like a trick question to you. So you sit staring silently at that eyebrow to see if he'll raise it again. But he swivels his gray leather armchair around to a whole new strategy. What about the little elephant? He asks, waving his index finger over your left closed fist. What's the significance of the little elephant? Your hand seems to open automatically, traitorously, revealing a tiny gray elephant of molded plastic, the size of a cat's ear or a toy soldier. A child of some other era has bitten its face, leaving it pockmarked and askew. The truth is that Molly, your best friend in the whole world, who's just been moved to another school because your parents all thought that the two of you were spending too much time together, had given you the elephant. So yes, it has all kinds of significance. You're not sure which bits he wants to know and whether it's any of his beeswax, actually. Do you mean, what does it represent symbolically, you ask? Symbolism, as you well knew, was a literary device whereby an object or motif took on a deeper significance than it appeared to have on the surface of things, having to represent a character's secret fears or desires. This was always one of the most interesting parts of English class, when the teacher would suddenly reveal all the hidden meanings in the story or poem, and you'd wonder whether the writer was putting all that in there on purpose, or whether it was just made up by English teachers so they'd have something fascinating to teach, which might otherwise never occur to most people. Sure, says Dr. Schwartz, what does the elephant symbolize to you? Did you ever see that movie, The Elephant Man? Me and my best friend Molly saw it once. I can't remember the exact words because it was a long time ago, but there's one part where John Merrick, whose name was actually Joseph, like my grandfather, says sometimes he thinks his head is so big because it's so full of thoughts. And he says, what happens if thoughts can't get out? Maybe his head is lumpy like that because his biggest thoughts are trying to force their way out? So then he builds this little paper church, but the whole time most people still think he's a circus freak, whether they dress him in a tuxedo or lock him in a cage. He just doesn't fit in anywhere. So then at the end of the movie, he looks at these pictures on the wall of his hospital room. There's someone sleeping peacefully, not all propped up on pillows like he has to do, because otherwise he'll either suffocate or break his own neck from the weight of his head. But he moves the pillows away anyhow just to be like a normal person, even though he knows it might kill him, and it does. He's only 27 when he dies. Just like Jimi Hendrix. Any mention of death or suicide is, of course, one of the things Dr. Schwartz is listening for. It doesn't bode well that you identify so strongly with a deformed adult male who died over 100 years ago. But he doesn't have time to procreation. He only has the therapeutic hour, which is drawing to a close. He really doesn't know enough about your situation to say whether you're in serious danger of harming yourself or anybody else. But he does know which forms require only his signature to make the whole damn thing not his problem. To him, what you represent is the last piece of paper he has to sign before jumping in a cab to the airport. He's got a bright new Hawaiian print shirt and sunglasses waiting in a desk drawer. After your mother leaves, they make you change into a flimsy blue gown with no back, then they seat you in a wheelchair just to take you down the hall, which at first you think is totally ridiculous. But soon the red syrup they gave you in a cup starts to feel like space travel.
Yeah.
They put you in a starchy blue bed sectioned off by curtains with a window opening onto the streets of downtown Vancouver. Wouldn't be too difficult to just climb out of here, you think, but then suddenly fall fast asleep. Your mother didn't know, and neither did you, that appointment would be the first and only time you ever meet this Dr. Schwartz or any other Dr. Schwartz. His only role in the whole downward spiraling snowball was to be the admitting psychiatrist, after which he just disappeared, never to be held accountable for anything that happened to you from that point onward, as though he'd simply backed into a lever releasing a trap door and you'd fallen down through a hole in the floor to the world on the other side of the two-way mirror, where everyone knows what you're doing all the time, but somehow they read it all backwards. Thank you.